I'd like to start our today workshop from the quote of British actress Emma Watson. She said, one second, technical issue. Yeah, she said, any problem, big or small, within a family always seems to start with the bad communication. Someone isn't listening. Here is the fact. About 60% of misunderstanding comes from poor listening and only 1% from poor reading. If you don't practice active listening in your class, maybe it's time to start adding it in your curriculum. Why? Before benefits that you've got from active listening, students will have not only in the classroom, but also beyond the school or university. And they can use it both in their academic and personal life. What's wrong with communication today? Yeah, so site number one job site, world job site, yes, indeed.com, put active listening in top 10 resume skills. So the most required skills in today's companies. You can also see that another skills like public speaking, conflict solution, risk taking are also in this list. That's why we're going to discuss today why active listening is so important. But before that, I would like you to mention that if you have any questions about our today's material, you could ask them on our chat, and in the end of this workshop, we will have session and question and answer session while I answer your questions. Well, during this workshop, we are going to discuss these topics. First of all, the difference between active and passive listening, then benefits of teaching students how to listen. And in our final chat part, I will tell you about activities for primary, middle and high school, and also for students and adults that you can use to teach your students active listening. So let's start. Before diving into this topic, let's find out what the difference between active listening and passive listening. So active listening is paying attention to a speaker and listening to understand, not to respond. Because when we listen actively, we try to understand what peer is trying to tell us, to understand his or her feelings and ideas. So, and we put all our attention here. As an example of active listening can be a student who listening to his classmate responding to some or telling about some topic before responding. At this moment, another student practicing active listening and trying to understand what other person is saying. Opposite, passive listening is like listening while multitasking. Let's face the truth. A lot of students, they prefer scrolling their mobile phones, yes, while they're listening to students if you allow this, yeah, or they can chat with their classmates, or they can look in around the wall or in the window. So they're somewhere, but not here. So they're like multitasking all the time. And it's a problem today because modern teenagers and kids, they stuck with TikTok and this short 1-minute video, and it's very difficult to make them stay concentrated on something for a long time. That's why this active listening is a good idea to start practicing it from their childhood, yes, to teach them how to listen to other people and how to understand them. So now we know the difference between active and passive listening, and it's time to find out which benefits we can get from teaching students how to listen. So first of all, the answer can be very similar to you because it can give your students advantages you might not expect. Researchers shows that students who practice in active listening, they not only retain more information, but also they can feel more prepared to the class, because when they listen, they ask questions and they try to understand information and comprehend information more. And it helps them to remember more. Thus, they feel less frustrated. And second, students who practice active listening, they improved their self-efficacy and their beliefs that they can succeed in class. And that's how it helps them to decrease frustration and feel more confident and comfortable during your class. And we talk not only about English classes, but also about all classes in school at the universities. Plus, it's really cool. Second one is how to listen can also teach students to communicate their ideas. Unfortunately, today, many students, as I told before, stuck with their gadgets and they can communicate only through messages. And when it comes time to communicate in real life, yes, like face to face, sometimes it's difficult for them because they don't have this habit, how to do it in real life. How active listening can help them? First of all, it teaches students to think before respond. When they listen, when they practice active listening, they think critically before respond, and that's how it helps them to be more attentive and to express their ideas better because they understand their opponent better. They can ask questions, they can understand more information and think before answer, not just saying what I'm talking about, yeah? And plus, for dual language classes, active listening is also a good idea to pick up their second language faster because they listen the information, they remember it better, as I told before, and this information stays in their mind for a long time. And finally, the third one. Active listening helps people build up their levels of emotional intelligence. Already, it's not a secret today that emotional intelligence is very important for potential employers because it helps us to communicate with other people, yes, to work in team, because teamwork is also one of important skills today, to offer your ideas, to tell about your ideas, to share, because if a person can, for example, person can be really smart, but if this person has a poor emotional intelligence, it's very difficult for this person to express his or her idea and to tell what she or he really means. Or he or she can do it in a very complicated way that other people could barely understand him or her. That's why it's really important. How active listening helps actually to increase emotional intelligence. When students listen their opponent or working group, they engage themselves in this communication, in this conversation. So they don't practice passive listening or daydreaming somewhere. They are in this process, yes, they can listen, can hear other people and can understand what they are talking about and discuss some project, for example. Also, scientists proved that active listening can decrease anxiety and depression among students. And it's also a good result because as we told before, when you practice active listening, you remember more, you're more well prepared, and you don't feel so frustrated. And the last one, active listening help students to promote their empathy. Today, it's very important to develop your empathy because if you can do that, you can see me. If you can express your empathy, you can feel another people, yes, how they feel, what they feel. You can see how they react on your words, yes? Do they agree or disagree? Or maybe they have some troubles. And if you can emphasize or compassionate, it also helps students in future or students in school, at university, even adults, to communicate with people. That's how active listening is important. So, and before we come to our next part, let's sum up this part of our workshop. So, active listening leads to lasting advantages in students' academic career and belonging. So it gives them greater ability to communicate, faster second language acquisition, lower levels of frustration, anxiety and depression, improved relationship skills, and stronger sense of empathy. All of these already are good reasons to include active listening in your curriculum. And before we continue, our host asked me to remind you about certificates. So if you want to get certificate from this workshop, please complete Google form. There should be a link in our chat, maybe it's already there. If not, it will be by the end of this workshop. You need to complete it today by 7 p.m. Otherwise, you will lose this opportunity, and all certificates will have been sent to you on the mails that you indicate by the 6th of November. So please, oh yeah, you can see it already in chat. Don't forget to complete this information. Well, now it's time how good you are at listening, because as a teacher, probably you know that before start teaching something to others, we need to understand how it works by ourselves. Yes, we need to have this experience. That's why right now I offer you to relax a little bit and teamwork and to play this game. Well, I'm going to tell you a storytale, yeah. Masha and Three Bears. I'm pretty sure that you heard these stories many times. Maybe you read it to your children or even grandchildren, and maybe it's nothing new for you. But let's see what kind of listener are you? So what we do, I will read you this story, you will listen it attentively, and by the end of this story, I will send you Google Disk with Google link with questionnaire with statements about this story, and you need to decide which are true or false. Yeah, and we will discuss it after this activity. So give me a second. Well, so let's start. Once upon a time, Masha and her friends were walking in the forest. Masha got lost, and while she was looking for the way back, she found a lonely house. She knocked into the door, but nobody answered her. So she looked inside and came in. When she came in, she saw 3 tables with porridge on the table. She was so hungry. So she tasted the first porridge. Oh, it's so hot, explained she, and tried the second porridge from the second plate. It's too cold, she said, and tried the porridge from the next bowl. Oh, this porridge is just perfect, she said, and ate all porridge. After that, she felt so tired and decided to sit on one of the chairs that she saw in the living room. This chair is too big, she said, when she was trying to sit on the first table. This chair is very uncomfortable, she said when she was trying to sit on the second chair. And this chair is just perfect to me, she said. But once she sat on the third little chair, it broke, and only small pieces left from it. Well, then tired Masha came into the bedroom. She was trying on the first bed, but it was very uncomfortable. Then she was trying to lay on the second bed, but it was too soft. And the third bed was just perfect to her, and she fell asleep. While she was sleeping, 3 bears came into the house. Somebody ate my porridge, said Daddy Bear. Somebody ate my porridge, said Mommy Bear. Somebody ate my porridge too, said Teddy Bear. Somebody was sitting on my chair, said Teddy Bear. Somebody was sitting on my chair, said Mommy Bear. And somebody was sitting on my chair, said Teddy Bear, and broke it. So 3 bears decided to look around and came into the bedroom. The Teddy Bear roared. Somebody was sleeping on my bed. Somebody was sleeping on my bed too, said Mommy Bear. Somebody was sleeping on my bed and she's still there, said Teddy Bear. So Masha heard these screams. She woke up, and when she saw bears, she got up and ran away out of the room. She ran downstairs so fast. She opened the door and ran into the forest. The end. So it's our story. And now I hope you heard it attentively. And now I will send you link. Please open it. You need to decide, are the statements true or false? And after that, I will ask you these statements and you need to write it on our chat, true or false, and we will discuss it together. 1 second. Okay, can you see it? Can you open it? Okay, so you have around 2-3 minutes to do this activity and we will check it together. You're welcome. Okay, so let's try to check how good you were at listening. I'm going to tell you a statement and you will write in the chat true or false, and then I will tell you explanation. So the first one, Masha was a girl, true or false?
True.
You can, true, okay. Any other ideas? Okay, you think it's true. Well, actually, we don't know. The history doesn't mention either Masha's age or physical parameters. Maybe she was a teenager, maybe she was a young woman, maybe she was an old man. It's just our assumption. That's how we remember it from our childhood. And that's on our ideas. We didn't have this information actually on the text. So next one. Masha knocked on the door before entering the house. True or false?
True.
True, yeah, that's true. She's done it. Well, there was porridge for breakfast at the bear's house. True or false?
There was just porridge.
Yeah, you're right. So actually,
for breakfast or for dinner, we don't know.
We don't know. So it's not know what time of the day it was, and it was just porridge. Good job. Well, Bear Daddy's porridge was hot. True or false? Any ideas?
Might be, we don't know.
False, okay. What's true then? Why it's false? We don't know because it was said
first porridge was hot.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. So we don't know which porridge was it. That's correct. So it's false. There were 3 bears. True or false?
In the tale, there are 3 bears. But
yeah.
at that moment, there weren't any bears.
Okay, good. Maybe, but you're right. In the tale, there were 3 bears. Masha ate a full plate of porridge. True or false? Your ideas. What do you remember? So you can type on a chat. Let's see. What's your ideas? So true. Okay. What else? Any other participants? You're welcome to participate. It's not a monologue. It's a dialogue, like workshop. Your ideas. True or false? So Masha ate the full plate of porridge.
She ate all porridge.
And what does it mean for us? Was the plate full or no? We don't know. Actually, we don't know. Yes. So this information doesn't mention, and we don't know. We know that she ate all porridge, but we don't know if it was full of porridge. So next one. Masha broke the bear's chair. True or false?
True.
True. Yeah. Okay. So there were 3 chairs in the living room. True or false?
Exactly. I don't remember what room. Which room was that?
Okay. Good.
Might be true. There were 3 chairs. Oh no.
So your Natalia, your ideas. Is it true or false? There were 3 chairs in the living room.
I think false.
False. Okay, somebody says true. No, actually it's false because we know that Masha was sitting on the 3 chairs, but there is no mention how many chairs were in the living room. Okay, next one. Masha went upstairs to the bedroom. True or false? It's just a game. Don't take it seriously. True or false?
I didn't catch that information. Upstairs or downstairs. That's why I don't know.
Okay, good. So you missed the detail, it's okay. Any other ideas? Dear participants, please, your variants. So she went upstairs in the bedroom, true or false? Okay, you said Valentina thinks is true, okay. So actually that's true because in the end, if you listened attentively, she went downstairs out of the bedroom when she saw bears. So yeah, the living room was on a 2nd floor. So next one, Bear Mommy's bed was too soft. True or false?
False.
False. Why? Why do you think so?
It was said that another second bed was soft, but whose bed?
Yeah, so you listened attentively to this part. Yeah, that's true. So it wasn't mentioned that it was mommy's bears. We know just it was the second bed. So Masha got scared when she saw the bears. True or false? Your ideas. True? Natalia, I'm sorry, could you repeat this?
I think false.
Okay, false. Maybe, why do you think it's false?
It wasn't said or I wasn't attentive.
Okay, so any other ideas, dear participants, your ideas?
She heard. She didn't see, she heard noises.
Okay, she heard noises. So you think it's false or true?
False, I think.
Okay, false. And actually, you're right. So this is this not set in history why she was scared. Maybe she ran away because she felt ashamed. Who knows? It's just our ideas. So this activity, and that's done. And thank you very much for participating in it. So let's applaud to each other. All of you were really great. This activity shows us how dangerous can be one-way communication. So you didn't ask me any questions to get more details, yes? You just listened what I was reading to you and took it from your own life experience and background. You can use this activity with your students and explain them why active listening is important, because all of us have our own assumption as for information we got every day. And it's very complicated, as I told you at the beginning, to be sure that we speak about the same things, because I think that you know that all of us live in our own reality, yeah, with our own illusions. That's why it's very important to teach our students how to practice active listening so they could communicate with each other at home, in school, at university, at work, in future, doesn't matter. And be sure that they speak about the same things with their opponent. Well, now you know how good you are at listening. And in our last part of this workshop, I'd like to share with you some ideas of activities for developing active listening skills, which you can practice with your students in school or university, or even with your employees. Let's come back to our presentation. So yeah, before we continue, first, some recommendations how you can help students listen more attentively. First of all, you should, it's easier to listen when you have a few distractions. For example, I know that it's very popular to put a lot of posters or models in your classroom to show students, doesn't matter, either English class or another subject, to show them information. But when you have so many bright spots on the wall, it's very easy for students to distract, to look at them but not listen to you, what you're saying to them. That's why maybe it's a good idea to leave on the posters and models that really needs to be in front of the students all the time, and another posters to use when you have appropriate topic for discussion. And that's how, because when they see it every time, they get used to it and they already don't pay attention maybe to these posters. It's like something that they already don't see. Another variant, how to help students who struggle to listen in class, is to use multi-sensory curriculum. What does it mean? Scientists proved that we remember information when we use different channels of perceptions, like sight, ears, smell, yes? And it's very popular today in a STEM or STEAM approach to unite several directions to teach one topic. And when you include in your activity 2 or more senses, it can help students to listen more attentively and to comprehend the information better and remember what you are actually saying to them. Because most of them just listen to you, and after class, unfortunately, if we practice the passive listening, only 10–15% left after 1 hour. some ideas what it could be. For example, you can sing a song teaching students the solar system, especially primary schools. They love singing song, dancing, doing some activity because they need to move. Next one is you can ask students to create a scene from a book you're reading on your class. Or you may even ask them to build some tiny house if there is in the story you're reading with your class, or make some common project. How it works, this multisensory curriculum. First of all, you doing this project, they will communicate with each other, practice active listening. You can teach them how to ask, how to be sure that you're talking about the same things, yeah? They will read this book more attentively, finding some details, yes, for this project. They will try to think, yes, and understand what it could be using their imagination. And it will help them to remember this information better. I will, from my experience, when I was a student at university, we had to learn about 2,000 words per lesson just to improve our vocabulary. And what we did, we learned them, we told them to our teacher, and we completely forgot them after 1 hour because we didn't use them. It was a mess of words, but without practical. And that's why it was absolutely, yeah, maybe it was good for our brain, but for English practice, it was absolutely useless. But if you use it in a real situation, in real life, it helps to remember this information in your and put it in your long memory. What else? Teaching students how to listen is critical for their academic future, and it also can be fun. And let's see how it can look like. So some activities for primary school. It's a very popular game, and maybe you played it with your students, or you heard it, or you played when you were a kid. Simon Says. Chanapis, has anybody played this game? Do you know this game?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Ludmila, maybe you could tell us what this game is about, what the rules of this game for our other participants.
For example, you can, at first you can show some actions and say, Simon says, and do these actions for them to get used to it, to this game. Then you say, Simon says, and they do actions themselves. And after that, you, for example, don't say Simon says, and they don't do these actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, you're absolutely right. So first of all, you need to choose a Simon, a person who will give a comment. And what is good about this game is that you can play it online and offline. So I played this game with kids, teens, and adults. And believe me, sometimes adults can love it even more than teenagers. They really love playing this game. And it's cute to learn, for example, parts of body with adults. I don't know, they like jumping, clapping, turning around, and they really have fun. And a person who is Simon, really he or she can give them comments like clap your hands, and students need to repeat after him or her. But when she or he says, for example, Simon says, walk around in the circle, and then she says, sit down. So without Simon says. And pupils, students who sit down, they just out of this game because they didn't listen attentively. It's a really good way how to teach small children to listen each other. So you may start like from the first grade. And it's funny game, it's an effective game, and you can use them in to learn so many things. For example, you can use this game. So Simon says for education, let's discuss. You can use this game to learn colors or shapes. For example, you may say, Simon says point to something green, or Simon says point to something round. Body parts is also great, like Simon says, rub your knees. Also, you can improve your motor skills, like Simon says, pat your hands and rub your belly, yeah? So it's not that easy that it look like it, but children are really good at doing that. For adults, it's more complicated. You can use these ideas. I've got a list with about 100 ideas how to play Simon Says for different purposes. Also, you can use this game in science lesson in middle school. You can ask students to point some name of particular bone or muscles, or if we talk about chemistry class, yes, you can ask them to point on some equipment or elements. So this game is universal and you can use it in any class, just suiting it for your needs. That's why I highly recommend you to play it with students of all ages. So next idea, for primary school, a game that's called Sound Hunt. You can play this game when you go outside of school. If you have, for example, a class when it's warm in September or in April or May with your kids. So you go out with them outside the school and you can ask them to listen what kind of sound they can hear. And you can have similar dialogue. For example, what can you hear outside? Probably at the beginning, they will keep silence. You may say, could you hear a bird outside? And students say, yeah. Or you may continue asking more questions like, what does a bird say? Make a bird sound. Or what else can you hear? Cars. What sound does a car make? Vroom, vroom, yeah? Or you may ask, maybe you have a school and you may ask, what can you hear? And they will answer you, train. Okay? And here you can practice a lot of vocabulary, like, okay, is the train fast or small? Is it loud or quiet? It's just up to you and your imagination how you can use this game. And little children, they are really good at playing this game, and that's how you can learn them to listen attentively what sounds are in front of them. Because unfortunately, living in a big city, we already can't hear this sound. It's like a white noise for us, yeah? And using this game, you can learn them how to listen more attentively, what kind of world is around us. So now let's continue and let's talk about middle school activity. I offer you to play such game like string telephone project. You may use this activity in English class if you want to talk about communication, ways of communication, history of phones, yes, what people used to use, yes, before we got a mobile phone, and explain them how sounds of wave works, or at class of physics. It's up to you. So this project is based on STEM approach when we use different sense of different channels of perception. And it's a good chance to explain students how it works. So what you need is like 2 paper cups, sharp pencil or sewing needle, and string. It's better like kite string or fishing line work really well. What you need to do? First of all, you need a long piece of string. It will be better like 20 meters. Well, 20 meters is good, but if your class is smaller, 10 meters is also okay. You make all this preparation for this game. And after that, you put 2 people on a distance, yes? So this string will be tight, yeah? And what students do, once students start talking in this cap, yes? And another students need to listen what was said. And usually this string, it's waving. And you can explain your children what's going on. And first of all, you will learn how to listen attentively. And second, you will can explain them what was that, yeah? How can they hear? It's just a game from maybe our childhood, but it's a really great way to explain students how things work in practice, not on just in book. So you may say that speaking on a cup, yeah, creates sound waves. They are converting into vibration and come from bottom of one cap to the bottom of another cap. And this vibration are converting back into the sound of the second cap. That's why a person can hear what these 2 people talking to each other. And that's fun. That's what students will remember. And they will try to tell this maybe to their friends or family. And you know that when they start explaining something to other people, they will remember it better. So this, you also can change this activity for any of your needs in school, in English class, or in physics class, or any other class. That's up to you. And it's really interesting project. And finally, if we talk about high school activity, I would recommend you to use this activity for senior students and for your students in your university, for example, and even with adults, because I practiced these activities with teenagers and they're like senior students, and they're really good at that. They like soaked this information, and it was really great. So this activity is called active listening conversation. In this activity, you learn them how to use active listening techniques. There are some of them, I will discuss it. Now, maybe at the beginning, they will need your assistance just to try it, but believe me, after 1 or 2 times, they will understand definitely what they should do. So this topic, this activity is really good for controversial conversation when 2 parts have different opinions. It can be also good for conversation across political, cultural differences, because usually when we talk about these things, we start fighting because we have different points of view. And this activity learns students how to have an effective conversation and to listen each other, to hear each other. So what you do, you offer them a topic, you take 2 volunteers, for example, and give them different points of view. And after that, you offer them different techniques, how they can express their opinion or their support and try to understand another person. For example, they may use paraphrase. So when one person is finished expressing a thought, another person should use paraphrasing phrases to ask if he or she understood him or her correctly. For example, what I hear you're saying is, or it sounds like you're frustrated or you're upset, yeah? Or if I understand you right, you think that it's a good idea to do something, yeah? 1 second. Yeah, encourage your students to use several practices. Will help them to understand which practice are easier for them, which works, which doesn't work, because it just they will not know for sure until they try. Ask questions. When one person is done with his or her opinion, you may ask another person, ask questions to understand, to clarify their meaning. For example, if you're fed up with your classes, do you mean that you don't like the teacher, the book, the atmosphere, because there are so many ideas, yeah, why a person can be fed up with classes. For example, I practice it also with my 3-year-old daughter. Every morning we start from phrase, I don't want to go to kindergarten. So it's like fight. And I ask her always like, okay, you don't want to go to kindergarten because, and they made me eat fish. I don't like fish. And I know that, okay, it's a problem for her, so I can come to kindergarten соединил. Yes, sorry for disappearing. Something happened. Technical issue. Okay, let's come back where we stopped. So, yeah, we were telling about expressing empathy. It's very important sometimes to show that you can understand emotions and feelings of another people, because very often when we come to another person and want to communicate, we don't wait for this person to solve our problems, but we want to help handling somehow with our emotions. That's why you can help your students doing that, practicing empathy and sympathy using such phrases like, I can sense that you're feeling frustrated, or I can understand how the situation could cause frustration. And what happens when a person can hear that? This person sees that you're engaged into the conversation, you're open to this information. And usually when we see that people are interested in what we're talking about, we start telling them more. That's our nature. Let's say all of us are a little bit selfish. We like talking about ourselves, and we like when other people listen to us. It's okay, we're just human creatures. And this how you can support this conversation, provide help, emotional help, because active listening is also good when you need to provide emotional help to other person. What else? Another active listening techniques is use body language. More than 70% of information that we take from a speaker, we read his or her body language, not words, not what is saying, but how we say it. Our facial expression, our body language shows much more than our words. And if you pay attention for little children, they're till at least 5 years, they don't see what you're saying, but they take information that how you're saying. If you're saying the good words like, I love you, you're so great, I like spending time with you, but your face will be telling absolutely different things, your children will react appropriate. They will not be laughing or smiling because they will feel that something wrong with body language and words that you are saying. That's why during conversation, teach students to use their body language to show that they're open. Because, for example, this is closed phrase, like, okay, I'm not ready to listen to you, yeah? But if you're nodding or showing with your facial expression that you're open to this conversation, it helps you to have effective communication. What another way to practice during this activity? Avoid judgment. And as we've mentioned before, and you saw it from our activity, we take our information based on our background and life experience. That's why we can be judgmental to another person. And that doesn't help us to have effective communication, because our goal during communication is to understand the person's perspective and accept it, even if we disagree with that. Only if we can hear another person and without interrupting him or her, we can try to see another point of view and have an effective conversation. And the last one, avoid giving advice. Let's say the truth. We don't like when somebody starts giving us advice if we don't ask about that. But people love giving advice so much, and sometimes it really irritates. So problem solving is likely to be more effective when both conversation partners understand each other's point of view, hear each other, and after that, they may try to solve this problem or to discuss variants. But if one person just started telling about his or her situation and another person interrupts him, it will not be effective communication, because maybe the first person doesn't ask about advice. She just want to explain his or her position, have some support, and maybe after that, this person will decide what to do with this problem. So what we need to teach our students is avoiding giving advice until we are asked about that. because people prefer not to listen till the end and already start giving advice from our own background and our own life experience. But we have different life experience, and sometimes this advice doesn't work. So that's ideas that I would like to share with you today in our workshop. Let me see if we have any questions. So if you have any questions in our chat, you are welcome to type them. If you want to ask more or some ideas, more explanation, or you may shout it aloud if you want to, and I'm ready to answer them. Okay. Good. So if you don't have any questions, in conclusion, let me sum up that. 1 second. Yeah. Active listening is an important skill and included in top 10 the most requirement skills today. And students will have a lot of benefits from learning how to listen attentively, and you as a teacher also will have benefits because they will remember materials from your class better. That's why it's better to start learning children and students active listening as early as you can. If you have some more questions about this topic, or you would like to get this presentation or links on the games that we discussed today, you can contact me via email here, like inga.students@gmail.com, and I will send you all these materials so you could practice it with your classes. Thank you very much for coming today. You were a great audience to work with. It was a pleasure to me to share the ideas. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was interesting.
Thanks. Thanks. I'm glad that you liked.
And useful. Also, have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.